Welcome back to County Board Wrap Up, our look at some of the key decisions the board took in November and how those decisions impact our community. Joining me today are Board Chair Libby Garvey and Board Member Matt DeFerranti. Now, getting back to the board meeting, the board also approved an expansion of the Dominion Energy Substation in Crystal City. Now, what was the need for this expansion? Matt, we'll start with you.
Sure. So you may have been noticing with the thunderstorms over the past few weeks, people have been without power at times, and we are working to add capacity so that we have what's called redundancy, an ability to make sure that more and more Arlingtonians don't lose power. So that's part of this. And then another part of it is we have a greater need for power, both with additional residents in that part of Crystal City and also with the Amazon office buildings coming online. And so what we did here was swapped land so that Dominion can help us with redundancy and add that additional capacity. And we actually had a pretty thorough discussion of making sure that we were getting the best deal possible in this circumstance with respect to some of the land near the swap. We wanted grassy space and open space. And so that's kind of the big picture, as well as the discussion we had at the board meeting. I think it's a positive step forward. We were able to get land that is in our planning documents and also help with this redundancy that's needed. So I was happy to support the project. I think it's a good one for Arlington.
Yeah, I've seen what's there now, the substation there now, which has this kind of grid on top. It's a very unusual looking building. And when I first came to Arlington, and going through there, and I was saying, what is that? And of course, I did find out, and now it's just fascinating to see it. One of the things I like, Matt, I don't know about you, because they're going to do public art. So the building's going to go up some. It's spread out now, and it makes sense to go up. And one of the things they showed was this: they've got this big blank wall, but on it was basically a skyscape. So that when you looked at it, at least on the picture, I mean, pictures are often sometimes a little deceiving. You looked at it, it was like the building disappeared because you were looking at a skyscape and trees. It was kind of like a trompe-l'oeil kind of thing, tricking you into thinking that the building's really not there. I don't know if they'll proceed with that, but I thought that was kind of like way cool. I mean, some of that can be changing. It's not a permanent art display. It's a display that can kind of change. I think the idea of having it like change with the seasons would be pretty cool. So we'll see what they do. They're working with our art committee on that too. And yeah, and we had a lot of discussion, and then don't want to go on it too long, but about the green space. And right now there's like a parking lot. It's behind a big fence. There might even be like barbed wire. I mean, it's just very ugly. And we're talking about getting that back to at least a nice sort of grassy area for the community. Eventually it'll be a park and it'll have more to it, but at least once that building is done, before we get to the time where we can do with it what we want, it'll be a nice grassy area for the community, and that area of the county needs that.
Right, and that's always just kind of gives that little pop of green in the middle of a space. It's always just very aesthetically pleasing.
Good for dogs too.
That's right.